Good morning, it is December 1st and welcome back to my reading vlog. So 2022 has somehow ended up being an even worse reading year for me than 2021 was. I had so much going on this year, especially in the back half of this year, and I am quite behind my already modified reading goal for the year. So I set my Goodreads goal to 160 books, and I think I'm somewhere just shy of 130. I'll put a screenshot here so you can see what we're working with. So I thought it would be fun to kind of vlog the whole month of December. Obviously, I'm going to be breaking this up into like multiple day chunks and posting lots of reading vlog content for you guys. But normally my reading is pretty haphazard and all over the place, and I just kind of read what I want to read. I might have like some loose plans, but I've turned into very much a mood reader. And the thing that has suffered the most are my arcs, because I've become a mood reader, but my arc requesting habits have not adjusted themselves, so to say. So as you can see, I have lots and lots and lots and lots of arcs from this past year that I haven't gotten to yet. And a lot of them are books that were really highly anticipated for me this year, and I'm bummed that I haven't read them. So one of my biggest goals this month is to kind of start to clear out this list on NetGalley. I do have arcs that I've requested through Edelweiss that I haven't read, but Edelweiss is less focused on numbers, so I might pull up some arcs from Edelweiss, but I would really like to get my NetGalley back to a reasonable place. That is sort of the overall goal of this kind of like vlog series that I want to do over the month of December, so that I can start 2023 with a clean slate, because I started 2022 also with an overwhelming number of arcs from 2021 that I hadn't read, and it just never feels good. On top of wanting to get through a bunch of my older arcs, I would really, really love to read some of the books from the fantasy and romance sections of the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I also downloaded some KU romances over the last few months that I've had different people recommend to me, and I haven't read like any of them. So if all else fails and I want something easy, breezy, mindless, steamy, I do have a whole pile of Kindle Unlimited, romance and smut to choose from. So I have a lot of ambitious goals for this month. Will I achieve my goals? I have no idea. I would really love to actually read a book a day in December. I got really close in October. I really would love to have a month where I read 31 books in 31 days. And December, conveniently, has 31 days. So that is kind of like a secondary goal. If I don't hit that, I don't hit that. But I feel like a lot of the books that are left on my arcs, and a lot of like the Kindle Unlimited romances, and like just some of the other like romance books that I've been wanting to get to this year, a lot of them are significantly shorter than the average fantasy book that I read, and it is very, very doable for me to read a 300 or 400 page book in one day, sometimes one sitting. That's what I would like to try to do. So as I was scrolling through all of my stuff, trying to figure out what I wanted to sit down and get through today, I realized I had started my arc of Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegemund-Broka over the weekend, and I'm 17% of the way through already, so I think I'm gonna sit down and finish this first. I really enjoyed their adult debut earlier this year, and so this is their second adult romance, and this one has a premise that I have never really read before, and it's not something that I really hear too much about. So this couple is already married, and their marriage is clearly deteriorating. They are not communicating well, and it doesn't seem like anything like really bad or malicious happened, but just that they got married really quickly, and after sort of the newness and shininess of everything wore off, they didn't really know how to bring that spark back or maintain that spark, and they are just sort of on different pages in life right now. So I think the guy's mom gifts them a week away at some really fancy schmancy resort place for their 5-year anniversary, and when they get there, they discover that there were accidentally 2 rooms booked in their name, and they decide to take separate rooms for the week because they are like so clearly not getting along. Like they were not like fighting, but just it was clear like the car drive was weird, and they were kind of just like being snippy with each other. And so they decide to take both rooms, and then when they like the girl, they come down to like meet for dinner, and there's some singles like mixer thing happening at the bar, and some guy who is talking to the dude tries to introduce the wife to the husband, and they pretend like they don't know each other, and they like realize it's the first good conversation with like banter that they've had in years. And so they like, this is just the part, like I just got to this part where they decide they are going to pretend like they don't know each other for the next week and like date each other again. And I think that's like a really interesting idea. Like they're trying to get the spark back, so they're going to pretend like this is a brand new relationship and like behave the way you would behave when you're like trying to get to know someone. And I'm curious to see like what is going to happen, and like sort of if they're able to work through what are clearly some issues in their marriage, and kind of like figure out like if something's been going on like in the background that we don't know about, or if this is just like normal every day, like if there was something that happened that like caused this sort of gap between them. I don't know. So I am hoping that that explanation made sense. It's very interesting so far, and like both of these people, they clearly love each other. So like that's also interesting to like start a romance book and know the two people already love each other, but there's just like this huge disconnect between them, and they don't know if they can like bridge it to like get back to a healthy marriage. And I don't know. It's like very, very interesting, especially as someone I've been with my husband for like 11 years. So like this is clearly something that like, you know, that's a part of like longevity in relationships, is being able to like continually find your way back to like the same person, because like no one stays the same for forever, and sort of like learning how to bridge like things as you like grow up and mature, and like, you know, everyone's always changing. So I find this very, very interesting. So I'm going to sit down, probably get myself a second cup of coffee here in a few minutes, and just read this book, and I'll let you guys know what I think as I move through the book. So I just hit the 50% mark on my book, and I am really enjoying it. Another element of this book that I didn't mention at the beginning is that there is a like dating workshop thing going on at the retreat during this week, and they kind of end up making friends with some of the people that are in it. They're seeing people get to know each other for the first time and realizing like how much they aren't continuing to get to know each other in their marriage, and like how important dating your spouse is, and not just like taking for granted that you know everything about them, because people change. And I think that's really easy when you've been in a long-term relationship to forget to be curious about new things in that person's life, or like you just assume, you know, like I live with them, I see everything, like that you forget to ask them questions about themselves, or like what they're thinking, what they're feeling. That can make that person like not feel important, or like they're boring or something. And so I am just really enjoying this. It's so different from any other romance I've ever read. And I know there are other books out there that feature married couples or like established couples, but like I don't see established couples like trying to fix their relationship very often. Especially in this sense where there isn't like some catastrophic thing where they're like fighting and arguing and they hate each other's guts. Like you go into this knowing that they are super in love with each other, and they both really want to fix their relationship because they don't want it to end over like nothing. I really like this. It feels very authentic to like what like the easy like pitfalls of being in a long-term relationship. It's not like an over-the-top dramatic like someone cheated or someone had an emotional affair, or you know, someone like worked 85 hours a week and like basically abandoned their spouse. Like it's not anything like over the top or dramatic. It's just like normal communication issues, but they like want to work through them. And I love when a romance book features like people wanting to be mature and like communicate and like working through issues. That is something that I love to see in a romance book, because you don't see it very often. So I'm going to really quickly like finish the back half of this book. This book reads so fast. I think I just read like 15% of the book in like 22 minutes. So this is a very, very fast read. I'll probably be able to knock this out in like the next hour, hour and a half. And yeah, I think I might make another cup of coffee. I probably should go make some like brunch at this point. It's almost lunchtime and I forgot to eat breakfast. I slept in this morning because I had not slept very well the last couple days. I woke up at like 4:50 yesterday morning and was never able to fall back asleep, and I was exhausted all day yesterday, so I definitely had some sleep to make up today, and I didn't have anything on the calendar, so I was able to sleep in, get caught up on that sleep. But yeah, I need to go eat some breakfast, and then I'm going to finish this book, and I'll let you guys know what I think when I'm at the end. Hi, hello. So it is Thursday afternoon. I still haven't showered because I'm feeling like a bit of a slug today. I'm probably gonna go shower as soon as I'm done filming this clip, but I'm still in my Christmas jammies. But I finished Do I Know You, and I did take a bit of a break to do my November like wrap-up graphics for Instagram, but I sat down and knocked out the back half of it really, really fast, and it was a really cute story. I gave it like a solid 4 stars. And it is just like a really sweet story that basically is like about remembering, like reminding you to date your spouse and to like not take each other for granted, and to not just like assume that you know everything about each other even though you've been together for a while. And it like pulled on my emotional heartstrings. I did get like a little choked up at the end, like my eyes got like all watery and burny, like not full blown crying, but like my eyes were a little watery. So it was very cute. 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. And once again, I'm now looking forward to seeing like what else these two put out, because both of their romances have been very like different from other romances that I've read. And I think the fact that they write as a couple is like, it shows in like the authenticity of the relationships. Hey guys, so it's like 8 p.m. now, and I am ready to like wind down with a glass of wine and read a book. I'm in my library and I was trying to think about what I wanted to read tonight, and I realized that last night I downloaded the audiobook for Nevermore by Jessica Townsend from Libby, because I never read the 3rd book in the series when it came out, and I loved the first 2 books, and I book talked the heck out of the first Nevermore book with my middle schoolers and like the tweens, and I cannot believe I haven't read the 3rd book in this series, and I needed an audiobook because I finished Babel yesterday, and that had been my falling asleep / insomnia audiobook for like the last 6 weeks. So I needed an audiobook to fall asleep, and I just randomly downloaded that, and I got like a couple chapters into it. I think I'm going to read this. I also need to read Amari. Like that is another thing before the end of the year. I need to read the 2nd book. I'll probably reread the 1st because it's been a while, but I think I'm going to like do this, read some middle grade. I haven't read middle grade in a while, and chill out and do this, and that'll be my evening. So it is the 2nd of December, and that means it's time for book 2 and hopefully book 3 today as well. I feel like I made the right choice in picking Nevermore as my next read. I got through 20% of it last night. I forgot how fast these books read. It's because they're middle grade and the font is pretty big and the pages are pretty small, but I am ready to just like sit down and finally like get caught up with this series. I feel like Nevermore is really symbolic of my reading this year, in that I have so many books on my shelves that were like 4.5, 5-star reads, and the next book in series came out this year, or like at the end of last year, and I still haven't gotten to them, and I just feel like all of these books are just staring at me from my shelves like, why haven't you read me yet? And you know, sometimes I have to like sit myself down and make myself do the thing, and then I remember that I like doing the thing, and then it doesn't feel like a chore anymore. But I have issues with like the inertia of like when I'm not reading. This year, that's been like a new thing for me, where I like find it harder to like sit down and do something that I'll actually enjoy, and instead I'll like do the thing that, like the path of least resistance, which is not something that I've like struggled with before, but definitely like doing a little more scrolling this year and a little less reading, which is not good. So with that being said, I am going to sit down and read. It's still pretty early in the morning. It's like 8:30. Yesterday I was a total slug. I slept in, I was in my pajamas all day, like just kind of had like a day off and like didn't really do much of anything. But I woke up bright and early this morning, made my coffee, made my bagel, and I showered like before then, and I'm ready to just like have a full day of reading. I'm gonna go ahead, sit down, finish my coffee, and like knock out Nevermore. All right, so I am about to eat lunch. It's like 11:30, but I am halfway done with Nevermore. I didn't get as much reading done as I hoped to because I ended up having to call and like schedule an appointment to get our TV. It's gonna go back on that wall over there. I want to get the cables like behind the wall. That way we don't have cables hanging out of our like wall mounted TV. And so I had to call and make the like change our installation appointment to that, and then also make sure I had all of the right components that the installation team will need to install it. And I had to order that and all that stuff. So that like cut into my morning a bit, but I like read most of that, like I don't know, the last like 160 pages or something in like an hour. So I will definitely be able to read the back half of this very quickly. I'm going to eat lunch. It's like 11:40 right now, and I am quite hungry. But I realized I don't think I really told you guys what Nevermore is about. But Nevermore follows our main character, Morgan Crow, and Morgan Crow is cursed. She's blamed for everything that goes wrong in her town, from like food spoiling to someone falling and breaking a bone to people dying. And she is also cursed to die on her 11th birthday. And moments before her impending death, she is whisked away by this very strange man named Jupiter North. He whisks her away to this magical place called Nevermore. And in Nevermore, she is entered into trials to join the Wondrous Society, where there are like all of these people who have these wonderful talents and knacks, and they use them to improve like society at large. But the thing is, Morgan does not have a talent or a knack, and she has no idea what hers is, and Jupiter is not telling. It is really delightful. Like Jupiter North is sort of in like the same vein as Willy Wonka. He's just the most wacky man. I get the sense that there's like something dark and ominous happening in the background. So yeah, I am very much enjoying this reread. I definitely needed something like easy to read, something light, fun, whimsical, charming. And it just feels like really cozy. I love reading books that make me feel like wonderful. Like there's so much like friendship and found family, and I love it. So I'm going to go eat my lunch, and then I'm going to read the back half of this book, and I will check in with you guys later. So I'm doing Olivia Reads a Latte's Patreon sprints right now, and I just finished Nevermore. Honestly, this was just as delightful the second time through. I knew like what the big reveal at the end was going to be. I did remember that from reading it the first time, but I forgot like how we got there, and it was just like a delightful experience. I have not read very much middle grade this year. Like in the past, I would have to read a decent chunk of middle grade to book talk to the queens at the middle school, because the middle school that I worked with a lot was 5th through 8th grade, and so 5th and 6th graders were still reading a lot of middle grade. Since I left that job, I have really not touched any middle grade, so this was delightful. I'm about to jump straight into book 2. They're just such fast, enjoyable reads. It feels really weird. It's like 4:40 right now. I did take a break and go upstairs and plan some. I did not film my plan with me's, but I hadn't even done my like personal functional planner for this week. I hadn't done my layout, so I did that and listened to the audiobook for a bit and then came down here to do sprints and read. And yeah, so I'm gonna start book 2. So if I'm remembering correctly, Wondersmith is more of a magic school book. So the first book, which takes place over a year, is more of like a magical competition, a magical challenge. And now that she has gotten into the society, which I mean, it's a series, so there's more than one book. So I feel like that's not a spoiler. Like obviously she's gonna stick around in Nevermore and keep having magical adventures. This has like a magic school element to it, and a lot of the kids from the first book are now her classmates, and I don't remember anything else besides I have like a vague memory of a scene at the very beginning of the book of them like all riding a train to class together. And that's it. That's all I remember from this book. I remembered most of the first book, but I don't remember anything about the second book at all. So I'll see if this train scene that I like am remembering in my head is in there, but I don't remember anything that happened after that. So I ended up getting about 100 pages into Wondersmith, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I did get to the train scene that I remembered. I wasn't crazy. And as I was reading this, I kind of remembered a little bit more about what is going on in this book, but I genuinely do not remember how this ends at all. Like, I definitely read this before and I don't remember anything. So, yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. Again, just like really whimsical and wonderful. And I am probably not going to read too much more tonight. Joe and I just ordered pizza. We're going to like hang out and play some video games and just like chill together for the night, but I will be back checking in with you guys tomorrow morning. Hi, hello. So I am having a wonderfully lazy Saturday afternoon. I showered and then put on like clean sweats. So I'm wearing my Night Circus t-shirt, which, you know, makes everything better. But I have read past the halfway point of Wondersmith this morning. I've kind of fallen prey to scrolling on my phone, and now it's like mid-afternoon and I thought I'd be finished with this book by now, but I ended up doing everything but reading. So my goal is to sit down and put my phone away and read the back half of this and then start the third book tonight. I think Joe is playing some video games with friends, so I am just going to have all of the time in the world to chill. So as I mentioned last night, I really don't remember like where this book is going. I have read it before, but I didn't really remember anything. So this is feeling like a delightful surprise. I feel like I'm reading this for the first time all over again, but I'm really enjoying the magic school component of this. There's a lot more friendship with her peers and her trying to get along with the other kids in her like group at the school. Like it has all of those good like middle grade magic school vibes where there's like a professor that's treating them very unfairly. There's like friendship, and there's like some people that get along with more, and then some that like you can see it's going to take a while for like trust and friendship to develop and build. It's just all the good magic school middle grade vibes that I love in a book. So I'm gonna sit down and finish this and then jump into book number 3. I have been a complete slug of a human today. I've almost finished Wondersmith. I think I have like 50 pages left, which theoretically should take me about 20 minutes, but my brain cannot focus on anything to save my life today. I'm just feeling like low energy and I've spent a lot of time scrolling and on the internet today, which I try normally not to do, but I'm easily distracted today. So I put my phone in the kitchen. I'm in my library. I thankfully remembered that Olivia Reads a Latte is doing reading sprints tonight, like 7 p.m. my time, so it's just after 7 right now, so I have her sprints pulled up on my iPad in here. And like also because it gets dark so early, my brain keeps thinking that like it's later in the day than it is. I was like, oh man, I can't believe it's like 9:30 and I didn't finish this book. And then I looked at the clock and I was like, it's 7. You're being dramatic, so it's fine. I still have plenty of time to finish this tonight and get a decent chunk of the way into Hollowpox, which is book 3 in the series. I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve for this book a day thing, so if I finish this today, I will have read 3 books in 3 days, and then, you know, I'll get started on my 4th book. I am going to finish this right now. I'm gonna be honest, that is my first workout that I've done other than like going for outdoor walks since we moved into this house. And for like the last 2 months I've been like, I need to get back on my every other day workout routine. And I keep not doing it because not working out is easier than working out. But yeah, I like made Joe hold me accountable to get on the bike and work out before I went and showered this morning. So that was like my routine for like the year before we moved, was I would work out every other day, like the days I wash my hair. So that is something I would like to get back to, but holy cow, I am like really out of breath. I am so out of shape, like not working out for 3.5 months. Oh, I am really out of shape for like taking a few months off, so I'll get back to it. But yeah, I'm gonna go read. I think Olivia Reads a Latte is doing sprints again, but I'm gonna shower first because I am very wet right now, very sweaty. So I'm gonna go take care of that, and then I'm going to finish Hollowpox. So that's my plan for today. Hi, so I am sitting down to do some reading sprints now, but I owe you a reading update on Hollowpox. I am like 210 pages into this, and I am absolutely loving it so far. It is really, really interesting how I feel like I'm already starting to see the writing kind of mature and age up. Morrigan is turning 13 in this book. It's becoming a little more sophisticated, a little more like nuanced. There's some really funny humor in this book, and I feel like the humor has just like that step up, like a little bit more mature, and just like all around, I am really, really enjoying this. There is a lot more of like an education and a school component in this. Obviously there was a school component in book 2, but a big part of that plot, like without getting spoilery, is that a lot of people don't want Morrigan to gain knowledge about her like abilities and her talents, and so she is sort of roadblocked by lots of different people in authority who don't want her to attend school. Now in this one, she is finally like actually learning, and so we are also now learning more about like what's going on with Morrigan and like how her abilities work too, and I am really enjoying that. All right, so I have like 150 pages of Hollowpox left, and I am absolutely loving where this is going. But I'm going to take a bit of a break before dinner. Joe and I are going to set up the Christmas tree, I think in the library, unless it's too big for in here, and then we'll go to plan B. But we are going to unbox the tree and put it together. So I'm going to include a clip here of us, like a time lapse of us putting the tree up. So I will check in with you guys when the tree is up. So we have our tree. We ended up deciding to put it up here because there just wasn't enough room in my library for like a full-size tree, which is fine. Honestly, ignore all of this furniture. It's just like the mishmash of furniture. We got a TV on Black Friday. Obviously, I'm gonna get a new stand for that. So this like room is a disaster, but this tree is very pretty. This is where we hang out and like watch TV and play games. So we'll be able to enjoy our tree. And tomorrow I will like fluff it out better. And this week I'll probably like hang up ornaments and stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited. We haven't had a Christmas tree in like 3 years. So good job, Joe. All right, so it is like 8 p.m. right now, and I'm gonna sit down and finish the last like 150-ish pages that I have of Hollowpox. It should take me like a little over an hour, and then I'm gonna hang out with Joe, and that'll be it for this vlog, and I will be starting a new one tomorrow. I feel like this is really motivating me to get my reading done, and I feel like I'm being held accountable by you guys, if that makes sense, even though, like, obviously you guys haven't even seen this video yet. It just feels like I told the vlog I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. So, yeah, I will check in with you guys when I'm done with Hollowpox. All right, guys, so it is the next day, and I'm here just to quickly wrap up this reading vlog, and also to let you guys know I did finish Hollowpox last night, and I absolutely loved it. Another 5-star book in the Morrigan Crow series. I am just continually impressed and delighted. I know I've said delighted so many times in this vlog about this series, but it is truly delightful, and it's refreshing to read something that I just feel that way about. I feel like I've gotten way more picky about my books, but I just unabashedly enjoyed this series. I feel like I would have enjoyed it 20 years ago. I would have enjoyed it 10 years ago, and I enjoy it now. I feel like this is just a great middle grade story that anyone who likes that kind of whimsical fantasy will just love. So I am just continually impressed by how this world has expanded, and we get a lot more information in this book about like the purposes of the Wondrous Society, and I was really like intrigued by the ending of this book, like where this is going to go. I feel like she kind of opened up a little more complexity than I necessarily would have expected from a middle grade fantasy story, and I'm really intrigued, interested, excited to see where this is going. The next book doesn't come out until October of next year, so I will be eagerly anticipating that, and I will not wait 2 years to read the next installment this time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I have really enjoyed vlogging the last few days, and I'm planning on continuing this through the month of December. I always feel like I'm held accountable when I vlog. I feel like if I tell you guys I'm gonna do something, there's a higher chance of me doing it when I have a vlog and a theoretical audience holding me accountable to doing those things. So definitely look for more vlogs coming out this month. I've already started my next vlog. I'm gonna try to keep this book a day train rolling. But yeah, again, just thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye, guys.